All right, let's take a look at these equations. They're both equations, right, because they have equal signs, but they're decimal equations. Now, I'm going to show you how you can do this, the same old thing. I'm going to solve for x. It's a linear equation because the exponent here is a 1, like we've had before. I want all the variables on one side, all the numbers on the other. I'm not going to touch him. He's alone. I'm not going to touch him. He's got no friends. So I'm going to subtract this. So I'm going to subtract 9.3. Here's what you got to be careful of, however, because this is 8.0. Remember, we have to line up our decimals. But this is I have 8, I owe 9. So you know the answer is going to be negative. I'm going to cross this out. I know my answer is going to be negative. However, when I subtract, I have to put the bigger number on top. So I'm going to have to rewrite this somewhere so I can do that. And this is 3 minus 0 is 3, 9 minus 8 is 1, so we get negative 1.3. And I'm done, and that's fine, and we could check that, no problem. But so let's take a look at the check. But that might not be your only option. That may not be your only option, so let's take a look. But let's check it first, just in case you don't believe me. That's the answer. We're not going to check all of these, but you know, you need to be able to check all of them, but we're not going to check them all. Okay. This is the check. X is negative 1.3. Negative 1.3, don't forget your parentheses, plus 9.3 equals 8. I owe 1.3. I have 9.3, so you know you have more than you owe. So that means it's going to be a positive. But now I have to subtract these. So 9.3 minus 1.3 is 8. So this is 8, which equals 8. We're all checked out. It's beautiful. But I want to take a look at this and show you have more than one option when you have decimal equations. So let's take a look at this. We can solve this like we have in the past. This is attached by multiplication. I don't need to move anybody. He's alone. He's alone. I don't, all the variables are on one side, all the numbers on the other. But you may not want to work with a decimal. You are allowed to clear the decimal just like you cleared the fraction. And this is, listen, a lot of people don't like to clear the decimals. Fractions they love. Some people don't like to clear the decimals. They think it's just as hard to clear them or not to clear them. So we're going to do two methods. One method is to keep the decimal. The other method is to clear the decimal. And you get to pick your own poison, okay? So we're going to do method 1, which is keeping the decimal. Well, like we said, we divide by exactly what's there. All right, so now we're going to take 1.5, negative 9.3 divided by 1.5. We know it's going to be a negative. Okay, so here we go. Ready? 1.5, 9.3. We're going to point up. Oh, sorry, what am I doing? Hurry up, help me. Thank God you're here. We move it one place, so we have to move it one place, bring it to the end. So it's 15 into 93. Okay, ready? And here's the decimal here. I'll bring it up before I forget to do that also. 15 into 9 doesn't go. 15 into 93 goes 6 times. Goes 15 times 6, I'm pretty sure. Yep, is 90. Okay. Goes 6 times. Let me get that out of the way. Subtract. We get 3. We have to add a 0. Bring it down. 15 into 30 goes 2 times. So the answer is 6.2, but it's negative 6.2. I know I had nothing left, so I didn't continue here, but obviously you can. So our answer is negative 6.2. That's one way, easy. But some people say, I don't really want to work with a decimal. Well, if you don't really want to work with a decimal, let's look at method 2. And you get to pick any method you want. I love clearing fractions. Decimals, sometimes I think it's not worth the trouble, and I'll tell you why. Because when you look for the answers of a decimal equation, they always want a decimal. And sometimes if you clear the decimals, you get a fraction, you have to change to a decimal. Some people don't want to do that. So it's absolutely up to you, your choice. That's why it says your choice. Your choice. Here we go. You ready? All right. I want to clear the decimals. Let's see how we're going to clear them. Clearing them means moving them to the far right. Because once they're at the end, I don't need to write it. Well, I'd have to move it once to be at the end here and once to be at the end here. That's great. Moving it one place to the right means multiplying both sides by 10. So I'm going to multiply this by 10. So when you do this, you're actually multiplying by a power of 10. Okay. This is negative 93 equals 15x. We divide by 15. We divide by 15. So we know our answer is going to be negative. Okay. Good night. We get x. I'm going to divide that. Again, I showed you only one method there, but you could clear there as well. Here we go. Watch. 93 divided by 15. You ready? I think we just did this. This is exactly what we just did over there. If I didn't erase that. Okay, but it's okay. I'm good. I could do it again. 6. That's 90. So look, I'm winding up doing the exact same thing. Okay? Add a 0, come down. 30. 15 and 30 is 2. That's 30. Good night. So I'm ending up doing the exact same thing. So some people say, why do you want to do that? Sometimes it makes it easier. Sometimes it does not. Sometimes it makes it harder. I'm not a big fan of method 2, clearing decimals and decimal equations, unless the equations are really, really big that you'll see later on in other courses. So in this class, I kind of usually work with them. But absolutely up to you. But understand that you can, and the reason you can is because you're multiplying by a power of 10 and you're forming equivalent equations. Because remember what we learned when we cleared fractions is that you're allowed to multiply an equation by any non-zero number and it will be an equivalent equation. So we're doing the same thing. So let's solve the rest of these. I'm not going to check, am I going to check any of them? Maybe I'll check 1 or 2 of them. Well, let's do a couple of these. Here we go. All right, I always kind of fight with myself up here. You don't know I'm doing that, but I am. I go, oh, should I clear the decimals? No, maybe I won't. Oh, maybe I will. It doesn't really matter. I think for practice, and because these aren't that bad, I might as well use the decimal. So I'm going to do that. But understand you could clear the decimal. If you clear the decimal, I'm just going to give you a hint. If you clear the decimal, you'd have to move it by one place everywhere. You'd be multiplying this whole side by 10 and this whole side, which means every term, because you'd have to distribute the 10 to this and to this. You can do that. That's absolutely up to you. Again, pick your own poison. I know you see me looking around. I'm looking for my eraser. Found it. Awesome. Here we go. Okay, regular equation solving. I don't care about that decimal. I'm fine with the decimal. Okay, we got to get all the variables to one side, all the numbers to the other. Okay, I'm not going to touch this 0.09 because he's alone. I'm not going to touch the 0.3x because he's got no friends. So here we go. I'm going to subtract 1.2. I'm going to subtract 1.2. Good night. The sum is 0. I'm just going to go 0.3x if that's okay with you. Now I'm going to think of this as 90 cents. I owe you $1.20. I have 90 cents. I owe you $1.20. So that means I'm going to owe you bucks and I have to subtract. Remember, when you subtract, you got to put the biggest number on top. And you have to line up your decimals, right? That's the hardest thing about this, is to not forget that. But this is a good practice. Okay, 12 minus 9 is 3. So we get 0.3. Oh, that's beautiful. Because now that's 0.3x equals negative 0.3. So let's take a look at this. We divide by 0.3. We divide by 0.3. X equal, you got it, negative 1. Cool. I picked a good one to check because this is not going to be hard. Let's do it. I'm going to check this. Remember, to check has absolutely no algebra in it, just arithmetic. Okay, here we go. 1.2 plus 0.3 times negative 1 equals 0.9. You ready? I'm going to do this first. Order of operations, because here's my equal. I'm just going to leave it alone. Order of operations says multiplication first. So here we go. 1.2, a positive times a negative is a negative. 1 times 0.3 is just 0.3. I'm going to do this. 1.2 minus 0.3. I just did that. That's how I got here. It's 0.9. So this is 0.9 or 0.9, which is equal to 0.9. Checks out. Beautiful. Glad I picked that one. All right. Let's look at number 2. I'll tell you what. You take a second, think about what your first step will be, and I'll write this down. Okay, ready? Okay, looking at the list a little bigger. It's okay, we can do it. Looking at the left side of your equation, I see if there's anything you can simplify. Remember, don't go back and forth on this line. Just look at the left first. Nothing to combine, no like terms. Looking at the right, nothing to combine, no like terms. I have variables and numbers on both sides. Remember, this is when I can do whatever I want, except I have the pen. So I have the pen, so I'm going to move the x's. I'm going to start here and bring my x's to that side. So this is a positive 5x, so I'm going to do the opposite of a positive and make that a negative. So subtract 5x, subtract 5x. I'm going to make that 3x minus 6.4 equals negative 6.4. Again, if you like this little symbol with like that to show the different signs, that's absolutely up to you if you want to box it in. Okay, ready? All the variables on one side, got to get all the numbers to the other. All right? So I'm not going to touch him. He's alone. I'm not going to touch him. He's got no friends. So I'm going to do the opposite of what's been done here. So I'm going to add 6.4. I'm going to add, you see what's going on here, I hope. 3x equals 0. Have to write that 0 because it represents a side. The variable did not drop out. If you go back and remember, we did conditionals, contradictions, and identity. This is definitely going to be a conditional because the variable did not drop out. Divide by 3. Divide by 3. X equals 0. Done deal. Awesome. All right. Number 3. Number 3. 2.1x plus 5 minus 1.6x equals 10. Think about if this is different or the same as this. Here, that's my hint for you. That's one side, that's the other side. Okay, notice that on this side, I can combine my like terms. This and this are like terms that both have variable factors x. I have 2.1, and I owe you 1.6. So I'm going to subtract. I know I have more than I owe, so it's going to be a positive. So we're going to do a little borrowing here. 11 minus 6 is 5. That's 0. So it's 0.5x because there's an x there. Okay, 0.5x. So here we go. I just needed that room. Plus 5 equals 10. Now, I've got to get all my variables to one side, all my numbers to the other. All my variables are already on that side. Got to get all my numbers here, because remember, I'm not going to touch him, not going to touch him. So subtract 5. I'm going to just leave this as 0.5x equals 5. Now I'm going to divide by 0.5. I'm going to divide by 0.5. Now this is what people don't like and they forget about, so I'm going to just remind you of this. Good night, this is 1, so this is 1x. I'm going to divide here. Just let me show you. Okay, this is 5 divided by 0.5. Remember, we don't want to divide by a decimal. Remember, there's a decimal right here. We need to move this over once, so we need to move this over once. So it's really just 5 into 50. That's 10. Beautiful. So x equals 10. Awesome. That's number 3. Ready for 4? All right. Do whatever you think is the first step for 4, and then we'll do it together. Okay? I hope you distributed, because that is the first step, because order of operations says that I have to do parentheses first. I cannot do what's inside those parentheses because they're not like terms. So I'm going to distribute 5 times x, 5x. A positive times a negative is a negative. 0.36 times 5. I'm going to do that over here. 5 times 6 is 30, carry the 3. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 3 is 18. 2 places over, no place over, which is 2 places over. Okay, so I have to go 2 places over, which is 1.8. Equals negative, I'm going to write 1x plus 2.4. I'm going to go to the left side, I cannot combine. I'm going to go to the right side, I cannot combine. Okay, this is my choice. Pen, I got it. Got the pen. I'm going to move him. The opposite of minus 1x is positive 1x. And I got 6x minus 1.8 equals 2.4. Ready? Almost done. Almost done. Here we go. Look. Not going to move him. Not going to move him. He's got no friends. I'm going to do the opposite of what's been done here. I'm going to add 1.8. I'm going to line up my decimals. I have and I have, so I have so much. 8 plus 4 is 12. Carry the 1, that's 4.2. Divide by 6. It's going to go good, I feel it. You feeling it? You feeling the math, love? Okay, here we go. 4.2 divided by 6. Okay, 6 doesn't go into 4. You might want to do that. 6 goes into 42 exactly 7 times. So this is x equals 0.7 or just 0.7. Cool. All right, I promised you a check. Here comes the check. All right. 0.7. Use parentheses. Oh, I want to make those parentheses bigger. Let's do this right, all right? I lost, there it is. Lost my erase. There's a black hole here, I think. It's where all my erases go to. The black hole. 0.7 minus 0.36 equals negative 0.7 plus 2.4. Here we go. I'm going to just go straight down here on the left side and pray it answers, it equals the right side. Ready? This is 5 times the following, but this is 0.70. I could write 0.70 minus 0.36. This is, I have 70 cents. I owe you 36 cents, so I'm going to have to subtract. I know I have more than I owe, so the answer is going to be positive. So 0.70 minus 0.36, borrow, you get 4. 6 minus 3 is 3. And it's positive, sorry, positive, 0.34. There's your point. Okay, so this is 0.34. Now we're going to multiply, just do that whole side. So I'm going to take 0.34 and multiply it by 5. 5 times 4 is 20, carry the 2. 5 times 3 is 15, plus 2 is 17. Now remember the decimal deal? It's 2 decimal places here, no decimal places here, so I have to have 2 in my answer. So this is 1, 2, which is 1.7. So this right here, this side is 1.7. If we did this right, this side will come out to be 1.7. Okay, so you ready for the other side? Here we go. Now this looks awfully funny, but this is truly just negative 0.7. Okay? So I have negative 0.7 plus 2.4. So this is, I owe you 70 cents, but I have $2.40 because I can put zeros here if I want for money. Think about money. I don't have to, but just to show you what I did. I owe you 70 cents. I have $2.40. So I have more than I owe, so that's going to be positive. Okay? But I have to subtract, and when I subtract, I need the bigger number on top. So it's 2.4 minus 0.70 or 0.7. Borrow, and that's 0.7. And 1 minus 0, might want a placeholder. 1 minus 0 is 1. So that's 1.7. And that checks out. So we checked it out for you. Placeholders may be important so you don't lose any numbers. And that takes care of decimal equations. Next thing we're going to do is the mean, the mode, the median.